Shabbat Shalom, Shabbatah. Welcome to the Philadelphia Assemblies. Today is the 30th day of the 7th month. Kind of rare. Usually more times there's 29 days in a month. But this month there's 30. The new moon will be tonight. Full moon, as we go by the full moon as the new moon per Psalms 81 verse 3. And it's also the 31st day of October, the dreaded day of All Hallows Eve. So even though it's the Sabbath, there's some that are keeping this as with malicious intent. A lot of people, keep Halloween as a children's holiday, but there's nothing good in it at all for children. But it's become a tradition, and traditions are very hard to overcome, even within the body of our Mashiach. A lot of people still have children that are observing these non-biblical festivals, I guess for lack of a better word for this day. Back... my brain trying to tax my memory, and it's not coming to me right now. Jeroboam, had a feast like unto the Feast of Tabernacles, which was in the second month. So, the 8th month instead of the 7th month. So he kept a feast like unto the Feast of Sukkot in the 8th month. And he started his 8th month on the first day of the month, which would be coming right up, So, false festivals. We're going to be starting our expository teaching in the book of Psalms. Psalms is really was prophetic. Most of these are, the psalmists were prophets, as well as they were writing this in music form or in poetic style. And Hebrew poems are not rhyming like a lot of other poems are not rhyming. They are more done by repetition, and that means by saying the same thing in a different way over and over, so they would get their point across by repetition. And if you read the book of Psalms, I don't see how in the world you can get that his Torah is done away with, because most of these words that are law in here are Torah, should have been translated Torah. So, and those things are quoted by Messiah and by Shaul in the New Testament, so it's just hard for me to understand why they would think that unless it's just something that they want to believe. The other thing is, we're going to hit this in the second Psalm already, so I'm going to kind of stick it out there. A lot of people now, they'll say, well, the Holy Spirit became Yahushua or our Messiah. And no, that's not it at all. But that is the one that was likened to the son of Yahuwah. That's the one that was seen as it was spoken of in Daniel, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were put into the furnace of fire. It was the Holy Spirit that showed up in there. Was the Son, and was spoken of as his Son. Doesn't mean that he was literally his Son, but he was the Spirit of the Father, the Ruach HaKodesh. And so when the one speaking in here is talking about the Ruach, now that Ruach overshadowed Mary, or Miriam, in a Hebrew name Miriam. Mary, the mother of Yahushua, overshadowed her and caused our Messiah to be. He didn't become our Messiah. He didn't go into Messiah in such a way that he became him. He anointed him. That's where the word Christ is used from the Greek translations, because it means the anointed one. So the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, came down and anointed him with baptism and remained on him and spoke through him. And I'm going to hit that when I get there. But let's go ahead and turn towards the east, where the temple was and where it's prophesied to be again in the city of Jerusalem. Almighty Father Yahuwah, we just pray for all those, Father, that are sick with this COVID-19 and that are sick from anything, Father, we ask that your healing power be upon them. But we ask that you would stay this plague, Father. We know that there's people within our own family that have been exposed to COVID-19 and are not yet positive, and then we have people in our family that are even positive with this COVID-19. We know it's not a hoax, Father. We know that you are allowing this, and we know that there's a reason for it. But Father, we ask that your healing be upon not just this nation, but upon the world, Father. Help them to see you through your Son, Yahushua. And we know your Son has inherited that position from the Ruach. We ask, again, as we go to the book of Psalms, we ask that you would anoint us and give us understanding and help these to be your words and not ours. We say it all in Yahushua's name. Amen. Okay. Now, I didn't say that before, but I just went through a heart procedure. It wasn't open heart surgery by any means, but it was a heart catheterization where they went into my heart and corrected some things through an artery in my femoral artery in my leg. It was a week ago Thursday when they did that, so I'm a little bit weaker than I normally am. So if I appear to be tired or whatever, that's probably why. Okay. But anyway, the first Psalm. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Now the word ungodly here, there's no word for godly or ungodly in Hebrew. There's either righteous or unrighteous. Okay, so this right here would be the opposite of righteous. So this, he says, walketh not in the counsel. Now what is counsel? Counsel is instruction. Someone counsels you, they are instructing you. So it said, blessed is the man that doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly or the unrighteous, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. See how they're over and over again driving that point home. But his delight, that means the one that's blessed, okay, or divinely favored. That's what the word blessed actually means there. The one that's divinely favored delights in his Torah, in the Father's Torah, or the Torah of Yahuwah. This word Lord, almost every time is the tetragrammaton, the 4 letters. That's what tetragrammaton means. And some would say Yahuwah, some would say Yahweh, some would say Jehovah. But it's talking about the Father and his Torah. And in his Torah, the one that's divinely favored, he does meditate day and night. So, see what it takes to be divinely favored? You have to keep his Torah, and you have to meditate in it day and night. Amen. Okay? Verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water. Again, be divinely favored. You'll be spiritually full. And that's what it's talking about. If you have a tree that's planted by the water, it's not ever going to lack. It doesn't have to worry about rain. Okay? It's drawing from its roots and from the water. And we know when they're talking about the spirit, the spiritual water. That's what this is all talking about. Okay? That bringeth forth his fruit, the tree, in his season. That means the one that's blessed, again, the one that's divinely favored. His leaf also will not wither. Now, what happens on a normal tree? Every fall, we're going through it right now, the leaves wither and fall away. But that one that's planted by the water and is nourished on the Spirit or the Ruach, his leaf will not wither. And whatsoever he does shall prosper, that one that's divinely favored. Now, the unrighteous, and I'm just going to read it that way, are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Now, remember, they're going to, at the judgment day, they're going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay? And the chaff is not only going to get driving away, it's going to get burnt up in a fire. Okay? Therefore, the ungodly or the unrighteous shall not stand. Now, what does that mean? They won't remain. They'll be gone. Okay? In the judgment. They won't stand. Now, if you stand in the judgment, that means you're going to go into the kingdom. If you don't, you're going to be gone. That's what that's talking about, okay? Nor sinners in the congregation or the assembly of the righteous, because that's all it's going into the promise, into the final kingdom, not Yahushua's kingdom, but the kingdom of the Most High, the new heaven and a new earth. That's what this is all talking about, because sinners at that time will not stand in the congregation or the assembly of the righteous, because the assembly of the righteous are going to go in and possess the whole earth. That's what the Beatitudes in Matthew chapter 1 are all about, okay? The one that's divinely favored, when it says, blessed be the one, okay? That's where all this stuff relates and goes together. For Yahuwah knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the unrighteous shall what? Perish. And they're going to perish in that lake of fire. That's what that's talking about. Psalm 2. Why do the nations, they got heathen, if you've got a King James translation, rage or make war, and the people imagine a worthless thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and in other words, they appoint themselves, if they can anyway, and the rulers take counsel together. Against who? Yahuwah. Okay, so anybody that thinks that there's a righteous rulers, don't be mistaken, okay? Because the United States is part of the nations. That's what it is, just like every other thing out there except for true Israel. And even true Israel is not the nation of people that are over in what's called Israel today. Okay? So the kings of the earth set themselves, appoint themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. That means they come together and they take instruction one from the other against who? Yahuwah. And against his anointed. Now, in my study Bible here, it says Messiah. That's not talking about his Messiah. It's talking about the body of the Messiah. That's talking about his anointed. That's any one of us that has the Ruach upon us. See, that's what they do. They take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his anointed. That's what the rulers of this world do. Verse 3, let us break their bands asunder. It's talking about those kings that have control over us. And cast away their cords which bind us from us. Okay? He that sits in the Shamayim, or in the heavens, shall laugh. Yahuwah shall have them in derision. Now, he's not going to do that till the time is right, but he's going to take them in derision. And that's going to be like a captivity and destroy them. Verse 5. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. This is talking about when the Father returns. And even Messiah, when he comes to rule, we're going to take down all principalities, all powers, all those that are either alive or are in that first resurrection are going to see this wrath through the Messiah, the Mashiach, at his return. But at the end, before the whole earth is born up, even the Father is going to have his wrath, because he's going to come back and he's going to consume all those that take up arms or take up, power over his elect. We've read that before. And so let's read this. Then shall he speak unto them in his anger and terrify them in his fury. I will decree the decree. Now, this is the one that's speaking. I did. Okay. Pleasure. Okay. His fury. Yet have I set my kingdom upon my holy hill of Zion. And this is prophecy here. This is prophesying of the time when he's going to set his kingdom, with the head of it being in his holy mountain of Zion. And it says, I will declare the decree. Yahuwah has said unto me, thou art my son this day, I have begotten thee. Now, the messenger is the Ruach. Okay, he's the Malach of Yahuwah. And he's the one that's declaring this message of Yahuwah. He's saying that he's going to deliver this. I will declare the decree. He's going to deliver it. Yahuwah has said unto me, Thou art my son, this day I have begotten you. Now, when Messiah is anointed by this Ruach HaKodesh, that voice in heaven, which obviously from the Shamayim is the Ruach HaKodesh, said, thou art my son, this day I have begotten you. But the Father said that same thing about the Ruach here. Okay? Then it says, verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the nations. Now, the Father's going to give the nations to who? To Yahushua the Mashiach. Okay? He's going to do that. He's doing that now. As his Ruach settles on people that are not blood-born Israelites, he is giving the Messiah the nations. And remember, those that he was given back when he was talking about his apostles or his disciples, he lost not one except Yehuda Iscariot, so the scriptures could be fulfilled. Okay? So ask of me, ask of the Father, and I shall give you the nations for your inheritance. Talking about Mashiach or Messiah's inheritance. And the outermost parts of the earth for your possession. Because when Mashiach rules for 1,000 years, that's what's going to happen. And this is the Ruach talking about this, and the Ruach is on Messiah. He is not Messiah. Now Messiah sits in the throne with his Father, but the Ruach's still here. There's still a Holy Spirit. It didn't disappear and become Jesus. Okay, or Yahushua. It didn't do that. Okay, the Ruach's the Ruach, and our Messiah is the Messiah. But he inherited that, the nations. Okay, our Messiah inherited the nations. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Talking about when he rules here. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. That's talking about taking down all principalities, powers, all those things at our Mashiach's reign. Then he says, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Not talking about our Messiah, talking about the kings of the nations. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahuwah with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way. Let's talk about when he comes back next time. Okay, because he's going to come back as the Lion of Yehuda, not as a lamb. Okay, when he comes back, they say, kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled. But a little, in other words, even if he's just upset a little, blessed are all they that put their trust in the Mashiach when he comes. This is prophetic. This is not saying our Messiah was alive when this psalm was written. Okay? Not at all. This is prophetic, spoken by the Ruach, reporting what Yahuwah had said. Psalm number 3. It's a psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. Yahuwah, how are they increased that trouble me? In other words, all those that were coming after him right then, how are they increased? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my life. Okay? They're looking for him to take his life. There is no help for him in Elohim. They're saying that about David here, that he has no help from Elohim. Selah. Verse 3. But thou, O Yahuwah, art a shield for me, my glory, and my lifter up of my head. I cried unto Yahuwah with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy mountain, Selah. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for Yahuwah sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000 of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Yahuwah, save me, O my Elohim. For thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the unrighteous. Salvation belongeth unto Yahuwah. Your blessing is upon your people, Selah, your people Israel. Doesn't say that, that's who they're talking about here. Psalm 4, to the chief musician of Neganoth, and I probably destroyed that name, Psalm of David. Hear me when I call, O Elohim, of my righteousness. See, because the only way you can attain any righteousness when you keep his commandments, that's of his righteousness. You have enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity or worthless things and seek after falsehood? Selah. But now that Yahuwah has set apart him that is unrighteous for himself, Yahuwah will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still, Selah. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in Yahuwah. Now, see, Israel was real big about offering blood sacrifices, or sacrifices, period. Grain offerings, different things like that. But what Yahuwah really wanted was you to keep his commandments. That's the sacrifice of righteousness, not doing what your flesh wants you to do. And that's what David is talking here, David. Verse 5, offer the sacrificings of righteousness and put your trust in Yahuwah. That's what we all need to be doing right now. We need to be offering the sacrifices of righteousness. Not being like the world, not getting involved in all the worldly things. 6, there be many that say, who will show us any good? Yahuwah, lift you up the light of your countenance upon us. You have put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their grain and their winepress increased. That's usually, in the 7th month. That's when all those things come to be. When the grapes harvested, the last harvest, he says, thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than the time that their grain and their winepress be increased. Talking about the feast. Verse 8, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Yahuwah, only make me dwell in safety. Psalm number 5, the chief musician upon Neeloth, of a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Yahuwah. Consider my meditation, or my sighing. Listen unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Elohim. For unto you will I pray. My voice shall you hear in the morning, O Yahuwah. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto you, and will look up. For you are not a Elohim that have pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell in with you. And they won't. The evil will never dwell with Yahuwah. The foolish shall not stand in your sight. You despise all workers of lawlessness or iniquity. You shall destroy them that speak falsehood. Yahuwah will arbor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come unto your house in the multitude of your mercy, and in your fear will I worship towards your holy temple. Lead me, O Yahuwah, in thy righteousness, in your righteousness, because of mine enemies. Make your way straight before my face, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wicked. Their throat is an open tomb or sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy you them, O Elohim. Let them fall by their own counsel. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against you. But let all those put that put their trust in you rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because you defendest them. Let them also that love your name be joyful in you. A lot of people don't think his name is important. We might not have it exactly right, but we need to make sure we do it to the best of our understanding and call upon that name. For you, Yahuwah, will bless the righteous. With favor will you surround him as with a shield. Psalm number 6. To the chief musician of Niganoth, upon Sheminith, a psalm of Dawood. O Yahuwah, rebuke me not in your anger, neither cast me in your hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Yahuwah, for I am weak. O Yahuwah, heal me, for my bones are dismayed. My body is also greatly dismayed. But you, O Yahuwah, how long? Return, O Yahuwah, deliver my life. O save me for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who will give thee thanks? How do we get this being in heaven? How do we get there? We're never going to be in the heaven where the Father is now. Not at any point in time. Only our Messiah sits up at his hand in the Shaman. 6. I am weary with my groaning. All the night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. My eye is wasted away because of the grief. It has become old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity or lawlessness, for Yahuwah hath heard the voice of my weeping. Yahuwah hath heard my supplication. Yahuwah will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly dismayed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. Psalm number 7. Sigion of Dawood, which he sang unto Yahuwah concerning the words of Cush the Benjamite. O Yahuwah my Elohim, in you do I put my trust. Save me from all them that persecute me, and deliver me, lest he tear my soul or my body like a lion, tearing it in pieces while there is none to deliver. O Yahuwah my Elohim, if I have done this, if there be iniquity or lawlessness in my hands, or disobedience, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, yea, I have delivered him that without a cause is my enemy, let the enemy persecute my life and take it. Yea, let him tread down my life upon the earth and lay my honor in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Yahuwah, in your anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of my enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that you has commanded. So shall the congregation or the assembly of the people surround you about for their sakes. Therefore turn you on high. Yahuwah shall judge the people. Judge me, O Yahuwah, according to my righteousness and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but secure the just, for the righteous of Elohim tries the hearts and emotions. Verse 10. My defense is of Elohim, which saveth the upright in heart. Elohim judges the righteous, and Elohim is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will sharpen his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travails with iniquity. and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own head. I will praise Yahuwah according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of Yahuwah Most High, or Elion in Hebrew. That's what the word Most High, Elion, okay? Psalm 8. To the chief musician Griffith, a psalm of David. O Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory upon the Shamayim, or the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of your enemies, that you might still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy Shamayim, or heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man, that thou art mindful of him? And the Son of Man, that thou visiteth him. Now notice the word visiteth. Okay, that's what the Ruach was doing. He was coming, Yahuwah's Spirit was coming or visiting them. He wasn't remaining on them. Okay? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels. Now, this is not talking about our Mashiach. This is talking about Son of Man here. This is talking about all his prophets, all those that are keeping his commandment, and has crowned him with glory and honor. Not at this time, not Mashiach at this time, not our Messiah. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of your hands. That's talking about Son of Man, period. All those that the Ruach comes and visits, the Spirit, okay, or now remains upon. Thou hast made him, that's each of us, our Messiah and us, to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, Son of Man. And if you're Son of Man, you're under Mashiach, you're part of that body. He's putting all things under your feet too, not just under Messiah. We are the body of the Mashiach, okay? Verse 7, all sheep and oxen, yes, the beast of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passes through the paths of the seas. O Yahuwah, our Yahuwah. Notice he's not saying one, he's saying our, he's including every son of man. O Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Psalm 9. I will praise thee, O Yahuwah, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing praise to your name, O you Elion. Okay, that's the word again, Most High. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou didst sit in the throne, judging right. Thou hast rebuked the nations. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. O you enemy, destructions, plural, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and you have destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them, but Yahuwah shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. Talking about that great white throne judgment. He's ready right now. And he shall judge the world in righteousness, according to his word or his law, his Torah. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. Yahuwah also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for you, Yahuwah, hast not forsaken them that seek you. Sing praises to Yahuwah, which dwells in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he makes inquisition for blood, he remembers them. He forgets not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Yahuwah, consider my trouble which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praises in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. Now that daughter of Zion is talking about the bride of the Mashiach. Okay, that is not yet, but is to come. The nations are sunk down in the pit that they made in the net which they hid in their own foot taken. In other words, they built their own traps and they got caught in them. Yahuwah is known by the judgment which he executes. The wicked is trapped in the work of his own hands. Higagayan, Selah. The wicked shall be turned into the pit, okay, or into Sheol, and all the nations that forgot Elohim. That's actually talking about the lake of fire. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. In other words, what they wish, what they long for, shall not be hidden from them forever. Arise, O Yahuwah, let not man prevail. Let the nations be judged in your sight. That's going to be at the great white throne judgment. Put them in fear, O Yahuwah, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. Psalm 10. Why standest thou afar off, O Yahuwah? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom Yahuwah abhors. In other words, he's covetous and he blesses himself, which Yahuwah hates. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Elohim. Elohim is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Your judgments are far above, out of his sight. In other words, he doesn't know or care about his Torah. As for all his enemies, he snorts at them. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in trouble. His mouth, that's talking about the wicked or the unrighteous, the nations. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hidden places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes secretly set against the poor. Talking about the rich and the nations. He lies in wait secretly as a lion in his den. You know, Satan does that. He's waiting to see who he may devour. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draws him into his net. He crouches and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath set his heart, Elohim, he has set his heart. Elohim hath forgotten. Hid his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Yahuwah, O Elohim, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked revile Elohim? He has said in his heart, thou wilt not call me to account. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to repay it with thy hand. The poor commit himself unto you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break you the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till you find none. Yahuwah is king forever and ever. The nations are perished out of his land. Won't be until Yahuwah comes and occupies. Yahuwah, thou hast heard the petition of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart You will cause your ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more be oppressed. Okay, Psalm 11, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. In Yahuwah put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may in the shadow shoot at the upright in heart. The supports be destroyed. What can the righteous do? Yahuwah is in his holy temple. Yahuwah's throne is in the Shamayim. His eyes behold, his eyelids try. The ben of men, or the children of the sons of men. Yahuwah tries the righteous, but the wicked and him that loves violence, his soul hates. Yahuwah's soul hates. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and in a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup, the nation and the wicked. For the righteous, Yahuwah loves righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. Psalm 12. To the chief musician upon Sheminith, a psalm of David. Help Yahuwah, for the righteous man ceases, for the faithful fail from among the sons of men, the ben of men. They speak falsehood, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, with deception do they speak. Yahuwah shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaks proud things. Who have said, with our tongue will we prevail? Our lips are our own. Whom is Lord, who is master over us? Verse 5. This is in red in this Sword Bible. For the oppression of the poor, for the groaning of the needy, now will I arise, saith Yahuwah. I will set him in safety from him that maligns at him or threatens him. Your page to turn there. The words of Yahuwah are pure words, as silver refined in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Yahuwah. You shall preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Psalm number 13. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. How long wilt thou forget me, O Yahuwah? Forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my life, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall my enemies be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemies say I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing unto Yahuwah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. Psalm 14. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Elohim. They are corrupt. They have done detestable works. There is none that does good. Yahuwah looked down from the Shamayim upon the ben of men, or the sons of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek Elohim. They all gone aside. They are all together become corrupt. There is none that doth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon Yahuwah? There were they that in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. He said he's in the generation of the righteous there. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When Yahuwah brings back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Psalm number 15, a psalm of David. Yahuwah, who shall abide or dwell in thy tabernacle or tent? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walks uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach, nor cast no slur against his neighbor. That would have been a better translation. In whose eyes a vile person is despised, but he honors them that fear Yahuwah. He that swears to his own hurt and changes not. He that puts not out his money to interest, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that does these things shall never be moved. Psalm 16. Midim of David. Preserve me, O Eloah, no, O El, O mighty one, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, or my life, thou hast said unto Yahuwah, thou art my Yahuwah, or my Adonai, my master. My goodness extended not to thee, but in the holy ones, or the set apart ones, but to the set apart ones are in the earth, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another Elohim. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. Yahuwah is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintain my lot. The lines are fallen into me in pleasure, in pleasant places. Yes, I have a good heritage. I will bless Yahuwah, who hath given me guidance. My mind also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set Yahuwah always before me, because he is my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad. My glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For you will not leave my life in the grave. You will not leave my body in the grave. Neither will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. Now, see, they're talking about all this applying to our Messiah. This is David speaking here. And yes, he will be in the grave, but yes, he will be in the resurrection of the dead. That's what this is talking about here. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasure forevermore. Psalm 17. Hear the right, O Yahuwah. This is a prayer of David. Attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goes not out of deceitful lips. Let my judgment come forth from your presence. Let your eyes behold the things that are equal. You have tried my heart, or tested my heart. You examined me in the night. You has tried me, and shalt find no evil in me. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the works of men, by the word of your lips have I kept me from the paths of the murderer. Hold up my goings in your paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon you, for you will hear me, O El, or mighty one, incline your ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show your marvelous loving kindness, O you that save by the right hand them which put their trust in you from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. From the wicked that oppress me, from the deadly enemies who surround me about. They are enclosed in their own fat with their mouth. They speak proudly. They have now encircled us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lurking in the secret place. Arise, O Yahuwah, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul, my life, from the wicked, which is your sword. For from men which are from men which are your hand, O Yahuwah. In other words, things that men do are only because of the will of the Most High. Okay? From the men of the world which have their portion in this life, they were vessels fitted for destruction, and whose belly thou filled with your hidden treasures. They are full of bin, and there are full of little children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babies. For as for me, I will behold your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with your likeness. Psalm 18. It says, the chief musician, a psalm of David, the servant of Yahuwah, who spake unto Yahuwah the words of his song in the day that Yahuwah delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Shaul. And he said, I will love you, O Yahuwah, my strength. Yahuwah is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My Elohim, my mighty one, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler or my strength, and my horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death surround me, and floods of the unrighteous men made me afraid. The sorrows of the grave surrounded me about. The traps of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahuwah, and cried unto my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him even unto his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was angry. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the Shamayim also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yes, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His canopy round about him were dark waters, thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed hailstones and coals of fire. Yahuwah also thundered in the Shamayim, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yes, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and overwhelmed them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at your rebuke, O Yahuwah, at the blast of breath of thy nostrils. Again, that would be speaking of his Ruach there. He sent them above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my stay or my support. He brought me forth also into a broad place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands hath he repaid me. For I have kept the ways of Yahuwah, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his ordinances were before me, and I did not put away his decrees from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity or lawlessness. Therefore hath Yahuwah repaid me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure you will show yourself pure. And with the froward or the crooked thou wilt show thyself crooked. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle. Yahuwah my Elohim will enlighten my darkness. For by you I have run through a troop, and by my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. As for the mighty one, his way is perfect. The word of Yahuwah is tried. He is a shield to all those that trust in him. For who is Eloah, singular, save Yahuwah? Or who is the rock, save our Elohim, plural? It is the mighty one that girds me with strength and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like deer feet and sets me upon my high places. He teaches my hands to war so that a bow of bronze is broken by my arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and your right hand hath holden me up, and your gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast supported me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that were not able to rise, they are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded or armed me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that despise me. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto Yahuwah, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and you hast made me the head of the nations. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. So he was a type of King of Kings. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall yield themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their hideouts. Yahuwah lives and blesses me. Blessed be my rock, and let the Elohim of my salvation be exalted. It is the mighty one that avenges me and subdueth the people under me. He delivers me from my enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto you, O Yahuwah, among the nations, and sing praises unto your name. Great deliverance gives he to his king, and shows mercy to his anointed, to David, and to his seed forevermore. We're going to call it a stop right there. We'll pick it up next Sabbath here in Psalm 19. If you like this video, or if you like other videos we have, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you like it, share it, because that helps the channel. And may Yahuwah bless until we meet again.